Good morning and good evening, Mr. X's class and other people who are watching. Today we're talking about the word stable. So the word stable has two adjective definitions which are on your card, and then there's a noun. It should be a noun definition. I'm not sure why it's on your card as a note, but it's a definition. So I think, at least for next year, I want to change it to a definition, just noun definition. Adjectives are more, these are more like the academic meanings of the word, but this is another meaning of the word. So first adjective definition is firmly fixed, not likely to move, change, or fail. So it means something that's stuck in one place and it doesn't move. It's stable, so it's solid, it's unmoving. So is this chair stable? No, I would say this chair is not stable. It moves all over the place. In the sense, well, it depends, yeah. I mean, if I pick it up, it's not stable. But this wall is pretty stable, not going to move, if it's well built, right? So, so we could say a building with a deep foundation. Foundation is the cement in the ground under a building that carries the weight of the building. A building with a deep foundation is more stable than one with a shallow foundation. I think that's true. I'm not a building expert, but stable means, you know, it's less likely to fall over. It's going to stay in one place and not move. Stable means it stays in one place, does not move. Similar to that, for a person, you could say a person is calm and reasonable, not easily upset. So like emotionally, kind of like this. Emotionally, not changing all the time. Same emotion, not, but it's usually good. This has a positive connotation. This is a good way to say that. So, not easily upset, calm and reasonable. If you want to say that in a good way about somebody. Mentally, people say mentally stable or emotionally stable. The opposite of that would be mentally or emotionally unstable. So, okay, this is my personal opinion. Presidential candidates should be emotionally stable. I don't know if everybody agrees with that, but calm and reasonable. And definition 3. Okay, so this will be, I think this should be definition 3. On your card it says it's a note. Then it's also a noun, which is a building in which horses are kept, where horses live on a farm. That's also called a stable. And so I put a sentence here. Farms often have stables for horses. And in Spanish, the word is estable. Word families. So unstable is the antonym. I think it should also be a word family, so I put here add. Unstable is the opposite of stable, not stable. If you can say somebody is mentally unstable or emotionally unstable, that means that person is, and it's a negative thing to say that, like too much emotional up and down or unpredictable, or mentally unstable can be a synonym for having mental health problems. Okay, then we have stability and instability. What is the part of speech of that, do you think? Both of you. We only have 2 people this morning because everybody's on a field trip. So, no. Stability. That's similar to Awod in Spanish.
Adverb.
No. If you say comodidad, what's that?
No.
Yeah, it's a noun. Noun. So it's the stability is the condition of being stable. Talking in general. Estabilidad. Iti is like Awod. And now that can help you with these words, word families, is if you see the ending, a lot of them look like Spanish endings. It can actually help you. And ity is a noun ending, just like Awod in Spanish. How about stabilization? This also is an ending that we've seen before. Shun always has a certain part of speech in English. No. If I said at creation, so it's not an adverb. An adverb describes how an action is happening. So if I said, I walked quickly, that would be an adverb, right? That's an adverb. How I did something. I can't say, I walked stabilization. Doesn't describe how an action happens. No. It is a It's the process of doing something. So it's like creation, the process of creating, proceso de crear. Stabilization is the process of stabilizing. And this is a little bit tricky because in Spanish sometimes you can have this ending, tion can be a verb in Spanish, but it's never a verb in English, it's always a noun. So anytime you see that, it's always a noun. Shun, noun. tion or also sion sometimes, always a noun. Stabilize, that's like izar. That's the part of speech of, like, how do they say, what's the word with izar in Spanish? My PM students are going to be like, come on teacher, I'm sure you have ideas out there. Izar it's a verb, it's an action. So, concientizar, I don't know. That's an action, right? It's a verb. Eyes. So, this is to make something stable, This is the action of making it stable. So we need to stabilize this airplane because it's all over the place. Let's stabilize it. Okay, let's stabilize it. We stabilized it now. The process of stabilization, the process of stabilization was difficult. But now we did it. It is stabilized. We stabilized it. So now it's stable. Right? Unstable. Let's stabilize it. Now it's stable. The process, stabilization. And stability or instability, so this is a process. These both talk about the process. In the beginning, it's unstable. Then it becomes stable. These two, stability and instability, those are both not describing a process, they're describing the way it already is. So if the airplane is like this, is there stability or instability in the airplane's flight? Stability, right? If the airplane is like this, there's instability. It's moving all over the place. Okay. Synonyms for stable. Constant, fixed, or unchanging. Antonyms, opposite. Unstable or inconstant. And sentence over here with literature about anybody who was in English 2 with me or Mr. X or Mr. Romo. You know you're reading The Glass Menagerie. You read the Glass Menagerie. So the family in The Glass Menagerie is not very stable because there's a lot of conflict between the characters. They fight all the time. Things change all the time. Sometimes they're happy and they're friends, and the next day they fight again. So that's not stable. A stable family would be like things are the same all the time. All right. Are there questions about this word? No questions? All right. Thank you for filming. Thanks a lot, and thanks for watching.